established rich coming right back at you. And today we got to talk about 50 Cent, Daphne Joy, Diddy, and the alleged tape that just leaked online. And I want to be careful with this one, because anytime you're talking about an alleged private video being leaked, you got to remember something. If somebody did not consent to being recorded or did not consent to that footage being released, that is not just gossip. That's a serious violation. So I'm not here to celebrate the leak. I'm not here to describe the video or turn somebody's private moment into a play-by-play. But we can talk about the fallout. We can talk about Daphne Joy's response. We can talk about Diddy's history of power and control over women. And we can talk about 50 using this moment to mock her. And we definitely have to talk about the child caught in the middle, because that's the part that makes this whole thing feel sadder than people want to admit.
I never agreed to be filmed. All of this was done against my will.
There's a woman that was on the tape. The woman has been identified as Daphne Joy, who we talked about yesterday, shares a son with 50 Cent. She posted a statement yesterday in response to the leak and took the statement down. She says, "Everybody plays a fool sometimes, and I've been the biggest fool. I just wanted my man at the time to be happy and satisfied. I wanted to fulfill all of his desires, even if that meant breaking my own boundaries. I deeply loved him, and I believed that he loved me too. It's still so painful to process the harsh realities and the truth of this relationship. The recent leak of the tape I never consented to being filmed on. I was blackmailed by the person in the video and was threatened that if I didn't give him the lump sum of money that they would leak it on the web. I almost gave in to his demand, and once I didn't, this person eventually sold the tape to a giant media outlet. The media outlet called me one day and said they had the tape and asked if I had any comment before the release. It was the first time I ever fainted in my life. Once the media company understood the tape, they purchased what was revenge porn and an extortion scheme."
Daphne Joy's position is that the footage was recorded without her consent and that people were trying to extort her over it. If that is true, this is serious. And even if people don't like how she moves afterward, even if people think her social media response looks strange, that does not automatically mean the leak was okay. That's where people got to be careful. You can question the optics without excusing the violation. You can say, "I don't understand why she would post a twerk video after that," without acting like the world had a right to see something. She says she did not consent to being shared. That's the balance. Because online, people don't do balance well. They either turn somebody into a pure victim who can't be questioned at all, or they turn them into a punchline and forget that they still a human being. This situation is more complicated than that. Daphne Joy may be trying to act unbothered. She may be trying to take control of the narrative. She may be overcompensating because the internet is talking about her in a way no mother would want her children to see. But none of that changes the fact that this is messy, embarrassing, and a painful situation for everybody connected to it, especially her son. And that is where 50 Cent's point hits hard. Even if his delivery is brutal, 50 says Sire is the real victim. And as rough as 50 is, as petty as he can be, as much as he loves to troll, there is a real point underneath that. Because that young man didn't ask for this. He didn't ask for his mother's private business to be spread across the internet. He didn't ask for his father to turn it into a public joke. He didn't ask for Diddy's name, his mother's name, and his family situation to become another topic for blogs, comment sections, and people who don't care what he has to deal with at school. That's the part that should make grown people slow down. A child is going to have to carry some of this humiliation, and he did nothing to deserve it.
I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. And ain't nobody threatening you, and I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no motherfucking games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad, I could have a spat, we could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. Hey, so either you go in the direction of like moving on and shit like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat, I'm just being clear. I can't do this shit with you every time you get upset.
This is why Diddy's name being involved makes this whole situation heavier. Because when you hear old audio where a man sounds like he has power over a woman, where he's talking about cutting her off, not playing games, and moving like he can control her access, you start looking at the bigger pattern around him. And again, we have to be responsible for the language. A voice message by itself doesn't prove every claim made against Diddy, but it does show the type of power dynamic people were talking about. Money changes the room. Fame changes the room. Access changes the room. When a man has that kind of money, that kind of industry power, and that kind of reputation, the women around him may not always be operating from the same level of control. That's why some people look at Daphne and say, why would she even be around it? But others look at the same situation and say, look at who had the power. That is the question Diddy's whole public image is dealing with right now. And that is why this alleged tape is not just a regular celebrity scandal. Now, I also understand why some people are looking at Daphne sideways, because after saying she was violated, she comes back online with a video that looks like she's trying to show the internet that she don't give a And to a lot of people, that did not read like healing. It read like performance. It read like, I'ma act like I'm in control because I don't want the world to see me hurt. Now, maybe that's her way of coping. Maybe that's her way of saying, y'all not gonna shame me. But when you're a mother, and this kind of story is already attached to your name, you have to think about more than just proving the internet can't break you. You have to think about what your child has to walk into. And that's where a different type of criticism comes in. Not everybody criticizing her is hating. Some people are saying, as a parent, I don't understand the choice to respond that way. And I can feel it.
You can see the first tape, man. There's a lot of tapes out there.
Oh my God.
None of that ain't got nothing to do with none of the parts. What you're looking at right now is separate. They feel like it's special because it's my son's mom in the actual tape. But we haven't had any intimacy for 12 years. She could be out back with a dog for all I care. To be honest with you, and she's the only person that we didn't get into the documentary that I wish we did, because it would be the person that's there that wasn't a victim.
That wasn't a victim.
No. See, when you think of women, we go women empowerment and for women, but let's not forget that there's some hoes. Right?
And predators.
No, let's just realize that this exists.
Come on,
So there's people that are there and they're looking for these things. Like they look for that. So she's just getting what she actually would. If you met it at the present moment, check out the OnlyFans, man. It's up 85%. It's up 85%.
Well, let's talk about
Currently
women for a
works, so
moment.
she's achieving what she's after. Trust me.
I just want to say about Daphne that we did reach out to Daphne. She was not in the film for her. That was her own choice to not be in this film.
50 is being 50. He is petty. He is direct. He is going to turn somebody's bad moment into content if he feels like they crossed him. And with Daphne Joy, there's a lot of history there. They share a child. They have had public issues. Diddy's name has been connected to her before through lawsuits and allegations, which she has denied. So when this alleged tape hit the internet, 50 was never going to respond like a neutral observer. He was going to respond like 50. But here's where I think it gets complicated. 50 may be right that his son is the one who gets hurt the most long term. But as a father, he also has to ask himself whether mocking the situation publicly helps his son or makes it worse. Because when you say your son is a victim, then turn around and make the whole thing bigger with jokes, you may be adding to the thing you say you're mad about. That's the part a real father has to sit with. I know 50 is a master troller, but sometimes the father has to be bigger than the troll. And that is hard, especially when you feel disrespected. Now, Charleston White saying 50 Cent took a loss is interesting, because on the surface, people would say Daphne took the embarrassment and Diddy took the headline. But Charleston's point is that 50 took a loss because the mother of his child is now attached to a public embarrassment and still has a son to raise. And that is real. And when you have a child with somebody, their public humiliation does not stop with them. It touches the child, it touches the family name, it touches the school hallway. That is why this is not just Daphne's problem. It becomes 50's problem too, because their son is connected to both of them.
I just want to tell 50 something. There's nothing you can do to get back at Diddy. They didn't give him a life sentence. Say, man, listen. I know you still mad because the boy had your baby mama over there. Oh yeah. Playing foosball with her. Just a foosball machine with the two. You all them one men. Ain't that the thing? You spin them in the soccer man spin. Yeah, he had your baby mama over there playing foosball with the little boy in there watching a big screen TV. Who you think was coming out telling him everything gonna be all right? It wasn't his mama. She was in there. She was the ball on the foosball table. So they were kicking her around. That was Diddy, man. So you got to, nothing else, 50. You got to appreciate Diddy Cause unless he turned the boy into a freak too. Now, if he
I think Charleston has a point. This is one of those situations where nobody really wins. Daphne Joy is online trying to look unbothered, but her name is attached to something she said she didn't consent to. Diddy's name is in another ugly conversation at a time when its image is already surrounded by serious allegations and public scrutiny. 50 Cent gets to laugh, but his son is still connected to this story. And Sire, the one who did nothing wrong, is the one who has to deal with the longest shadow. That's why this whole thing feels nasty. Not funny nasty, sad nasty. The kind of nasty where everybody is laughing online, but somewhere a child has to live with adult decisions he never made. And that is why I can't just look at this as celebrity gossip. There is a real lesson here about who you deal with, what you allow to be recorded, who has access to your private life, and how quickly something private can become public when the wrong people have it. There is also a lesson about parents. When you have children, your embarrassment don't just belong to you anymore. Your children can end up wearing part of it. That don't mean a parent has to be perfect, but it does mean you have to move like your child may one day have to answer for what you did. And for 50, the lesson is different. He may feel like he has every right to go with Daphne and Diddy. He may finally feel like the world is saying what he been saying. But if his son is really the person he's concerned about, then he has to protect his son from the pile on too. A father's job is not just to point out who hurt his child. A father's job is also to make sure that his response doesn't hurt the child more. That's where 50 has to be careful. And for Daphne Joy, I don't know what her healing looks like. I don't know what her mindset was after she posted what she posted when the tape leaked. But from the outside looking in, she looks lost. When you say you were violated, then you immediately post something that looks like you looking for attention, people are going to question it. That may not be fair, but it is predictable. And if she wants people to take her claims seriously, she has to understand how the public reads timing. So I'm going to take y'all out like this. If Daphne Joy was recorded without consent, she deserves justice for that. If people leak private footage to humiliate her, then that was wrong. But the way she responded publicly still matters because she is a mother and her son still has to live in a world that reacts to these moments. 50 may be right that Sire is the real victim. But if that is true, then 50 has to move like a father first and a troll second. This is not just about a tape. This is about consent, parenting, power, humiliation, and the damage that hits children when adults make messy choices in public. And the saddest part is the internet will move on to the next scandal. The blogs will move on. The comment sections will move on. But Sire may have to live with this long after everybody else is done laughing. That's why this is not funny to me. It's embarrassing and it's sad. And it should make every parent think twice about what they allow around their children's future. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.